under the weather because of the current situation with the rain and everything, and there's a lot of flu going on around. So
I hope you take your fluids because those are very important. That will just be kicked out of the blue just like that. What is Firmeron? What have we been talking about here?
Okay, so like you said, in today's world, we would like to adopt technology in a more useful way, not in a way where we just waste time.
Yes.
So in our country, Uganda, technology is not something which has been adopted at a fast-paced rate, but at least most people are trying to get an appreciation of it. So what am I trying to say? In the legal fraternity, Firmeron is something we came up with, which is a mobile legal app, which connects lawyers and people together, offering a multitude of other services. In other words, ever since the COVID-19 pandemic that broke out, we noticed that most people need these legal services. And not everyone has a confidence to just walk into a law firm or to find a lawyer on the street. Already there's an outbreak of flu and we still have COVID-19, even if most people are trying to get out of that whole situation. So Firmeron comes in to connect you to a lawyer at the touch of your finger. In fact, that comes in.
It's a mobile app?
Yes, a mobile app, available on Android and Apple Play Store. So our logo actually is, or might I say our motto is justice at your fingertips. So you're able to get a lawyer, whether your car's broken down or you've just been hit by crooks, or you need a company registered, or you need a lawyer for, let's say, a court case. You could just log onto the Firmeron app and download it. And then you're able to see a list of lawyers who will be able to help you out at any given time. Yes.
Why do you think it's very hard for individuals or Ugandans to walk to a law firm and get help?
I don't think it's hard per se. I think it's a bit tedious and cumbersome, and I think technology came in to help us in our lives. It came to ease the ordinary Ugandan's life. Because imagine if someone has a case, or if someone has a burning issue and they're from Kanungu or they're from Kabale. So do they have to come all the way to Kampala just to get a lawyer? If they're able to just get justice at their fingertips from their mobile phone, then they can be able to agree with their lawyer, and their lawyer is able to tell them whether it's necessary for them to come to Kampala, or they could just sort out their issue maybe with an arbitration online meeting through the app, or they could do a Zoom meeting or anything. They could just do a formal consultation there without them having to come all the way this side. Not that they are lawyers in Kabale or in Kanungu or in Gulu, but most people have this notion that the best legal services are in Kampala. But that may not necessarily be the case if you can interact with a lawyer on this cyber platform. Yes, so that was the whole idea of Firmeron. If you're able to connect with a lawyer at will or at ease, I mean, in your couch at home, and discuss a legal issue and see whether it's worth it going to court, or you can take the next steps there.
Are you part of the founders?
Yes, I'm part of the founders. Actually, we are a group of few people. It's me and two other people. And we thought about this idea since about late 2019, even before COVID broke out, because it stemmed from this idea of my YouTube channel. For those who might not be aware, I have a legal YouTube channel, by the way, Sharon.
Okay.
Yes, my YouTube channel is called Simply Legal by Terry Kahuma, where I demystify and simplify legal concepts for people to understand easily. So it stems from my love for humanity. I love helping the community, giving back, because I believe all this wealth we're making, we'll leave it behind for our next generations. But what impact have you made in people's lives? So I get people's problems and address them on my YouTube channel weekly. So as I thought about helping mankind more, I thought about making an app, connecting lawyers and people together. So with time, we're already in the process of upgrading the app, and we're going to incorporate a number of things which are going to make access to justice easier for people to understand. Access justice easier for people.
For how long has it been in existence? When did you develop the app, and for how long has it been working?
Okay, well, the app has been developed since late actually around early 2020. You know, applications are very big to make, And sometimes you're going to meet pitfalls. You're going to say, maybe this is too big, is the app too big? If we make it one app, is it going to be too cumbersome for someone to download?
Yes.
There are actually two versions. There is Firmeron Lawyer and there's Firmeron Client. Because initially when we tried to join the both of them, it was a little too heavy and it was going to be so expensive for someone to download. So we decided to separate them into two apps, just like you have Safe Border or Uber. The Safe Border app that we'll have on our phones is Safe Border for clients. So you're able to just get on your phone and then download and then request for a ride on Safe Border. And then it corresponds with the other rider who has the rider's version of the app. So that's how it is. The advocates that we already registered have Firmeron Lawyer on both Android and Apple. So we already registered them as the administration and founders of Firmeron. Then the clients are able to go on the client's version and then they're able to see the lawyers who they would want to engage with. You'll be able to see their different professions. This one is good at commercial transactions, this one is good at criminal, this one is good at intellectual property rights, land law. So able to click on their profiles, then able to see what they're best at, what their consultation fee is. We also try to make it as reduced, at a reduced rate as possible, because once you enter a law firm, I mean, if you, I'll not mention top tier law firms, but most of them are going to charge you exorbitantly. So at least we try to make it as cost friendly as possible for those who can afford. Then we're already introducing a part of access to justice for those who cannot afford. In law we have what's called pro bono services, which are free services.
Free of charge,
yes. Majority of Ugandans cannot actually afford legal services, but they're the people who have the majority of issues.
Yes.
They have land issues, issues of inheritance, family issues. They've had issues for 100+ years and they've never been solved, but they do not have the money to access legal services. So how do we bridge that gap? That's where Firmeron comes in. Yes.
How many, when it actually comes to Firmeron, and what are some of the special features that you have on there that other apps do not have? Because there's quite a lot. I was actually looking at some, and there's, for example, even one with Uganda Law Society, Bulidao. There's so many other apps that sort of provide the same thing, or it's really to merge clientele and lawyers, you know. But so what are the special features on Firmeron, and why would I actually want to download Firmeron instead of any other?
Okay, so in today's world, when we look at speciality or what makes you special, I think simplicity also comes in that place. Because I would ask you the same question, what makes WhatsApp special? I mean, everyone who would want to access an app would want the simplest thing possible. In today's world, everyone wants comfort. Everyone wants, I mean, like if we're seated right here at UBC, you just want to order Cafe Javas, a coffee. If you're craving for it and it's raining, you want to easily get it online. So you're able to get it just at the click of a button on your phone. So part of what makes Firmeron special is simplicity. The fact that it's very easy to use and user-friendly, I think that's what makes it special. That's number one. Number two, as we upgrade the app currently, we have a section of languages. So I think that is one of our biggest selling points. Given that in Uganda we live in a multilingual state, we have Luganda, we have Lusoga, Ruchiga, Runyoro, I mean everything, Kiswahili. So we are currently upgrading the system to include languages. In that, we're going to have a section very soon on the app where you can be able to click the language which you're best at, or which you would want your advocate to speak to you in, so that it's easier for you to not only speak to them in, like, let's say, broken English, so to say, but in the language which you understand. Yes. Even if majority of our laws are in English, at least we try and make everything easier for people to communicate on the platform. Because I'll tell you what, I've not traveled so much, but I've traveled to many regions in Uganda. Once they get to know that you're a lawyer, they will ask you many legal questions, but in their local languages, and many times we don't understand the other person's language. Yeah, so I think what makes Firmeron special is the simplicity and that whole language aspect.
Are you stating that you're going to have over 54 languages on that app?
No, we're not going to have all the 54 languages on the platform. What we're going to do is to get certain languages which can, I would call them block languages.
Okay.
Like, for example, in the West we have Runyakitara. In the West, we have Runyakitara. So when we do have, let's say, Runyankole on the platform, at least most people in the West can be able to understand Runyankole. If we have Luganda, almost everyone in Uganda, at least to like 85% can understand Luganda. If we have Swahili, so we can have 4 major languages which can address, at least someone will be nearer to their language, which they can easily understand. But having all the 54 languages, that would be too cumbersome.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but at least if we can have block languages, you can be able to address those issues. Yes, the whole language thing.
You talked about advocates, or you get onto the app, decide who you want to sort of represent you, and all that. How many of those do you have on there?
Currently, the platform we have about 20 advocates. We've been able to register them.
How many are in Uganda, if you know?
Advocates?
Yes.
They're above 7,000
Okay.
advocates. Yes.
Okay.
So in law we have lawyers, like someone
Yes.
can just finish law school, but they've not necessarily gone to LDC, which is a bar course.
Yes.
Someone only becomes an advocate when they have finished the bar course.
Yes, the bar course. Okay.
So
If you have 7,000, if you have 20 and there's 7,000 law firms, you mean?
no.
Do we have? Okay. So do we
yeah,
have? How many
lawyers
law
and
firms
advocates.
do we have?
I'm not too sure about the
Yes,
number,
yes.
but I know they're quite a number. They could be above like 300 to 500. Yeah, across the country, they're quite a number because we don't only have them in Kampala.
How do you decide who to have on your app?
Right now, the version that we had put out is a prototype. It's our finished version, but as you know, with technology, we keep upgrading. So the current version we have there is our original version. So to answer your question, I think, okay, I don't know. You could just give me the question again.
How do you decide who to put on there as an advocate or a law firm that I can choose as a client to use? So is it an agreement that you have with the law firm or that specific advocate? How do you choose who is on there to sort of make it easier for the client when they get on there and they want to choose who to represent them or who they want to talk to?
Okay, so currently we are choosing advocates. We're choosing people who can both do a lawyer's work and an advocate's work. The major work of an advocate is to represent someone in court or in an arbitration session or in any form of alternative dispute resolution. So currently we are looking at advocates because most people's issues will not necessarily end up in drafting a contract. You actually have to go to court. So right now we're capitalizing on advocates, and then later on we're going to incorporate also lawyers because we also want to give them a bit of work. Because Firmeron is also an employment opportunity for someone. Because in a law firm, you're going to earn at most 5 million? Or let's say 7 million if you're a very, very good lawyer. But on this platform, you can be able to earn an extra coin.
How?
Because if you are attending to a client and let's say you're able to agree on your fees with a client, if a client, let's say wants a company registered and you agree, let's say I'm going to charge you 1 million, then that's an extra, I don't know, 800,000 or 1 million that you're going to have in your pocket on top of the salary that you're getting from your law firm. So right now we just want to register advocates. Later on we put in lawyers, and as the app keeps growing bigger, a lot of people in the legal profession will have a lot of work to do from this platform.
You've talked about, I know you've hinted here and there about the services that Firmeron offers, but can you just sort of outline those once again? Because you talked about, yes, you talked about a few, so I just want to sort of understand and also have a mental picture of what that app really looks like until I go to the app store so that I can download and understand more. Yes, please.
Okay, so the services that Firmeron offers is, we offer services such as registration of companies. We offer, it's a legal service app, so most of the services are going to be legal based. Registration of companies, drafting of contracts, representation in court, because we are sure of the advocates that are already registered on this platform. We also have alternative dispute resolution services such as arbitration and mediation. Personally, I'm a mediator, so I believe that many of the cases which happen, or many of the issues that Ugandans have, don't necessarily have to end up in court. So if you can be able to mediate and finish up an issue there and then with both parties, then you'd have saved a lot of time and money. So when we talk about ease of access to justice, we don't just talk about connecting lawyers and people together. Services such as alternative dispute resolution is easing access to justice. If people have a land wrangle in, let's say, Kaberamaido, and you can be able to speak to them through an online conference room, which the app is currently upgrading, then you're going to be able to solve their issue without even going to court. So we offer a number of I hope I've hinted on them.
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
What are some of the you talked about the land wrangle, but what are some of the disputes that you think actually do not have to go to court, but somehow they've been there and people are spending a lot of money, a lot of time, and they're not even getting the services that they want?
I beg your pardon?
What are some of the cases or some of the things that are happening, and you feel like those, with a mediator, those can be sorted out? With Firmeron, if really used well, those can be sorted out before you go to court and continue with a case that is going to take so much money, so much time, just like you hinted on the example of the land wrangle.
So some of those issues constitute, I would say, land again, but land and family issues are some of the major things that people need the intervention of mediation and arbitration in, because most of those issues can even take up to 10 to 20 years, depending on the court system. Either you're in the High Court or, I don't know, Magistrates Court, and also depends on the area that you're in. So it highly depends on a number of factors, but majorly family issues, land issues, even most commercial issues, I believe, can be sorted out through arbitration and mediation. Yes. So if people can be able to sort out these issues through the platform, they can be able to get a lawyer who is very good, who is a very good mediator or arbitrator, then what would be the need for someone to go to court? Yes.
Maybe that will also scale down on the case log or
the
whatever.
backlog
Yes,
of
the
court.
backlog, yes.
Actually, it takes me to my next point. You just took the words right out of my mouth. The court system is so overwhelmed by the huge. In Uganda, we have a population of about 50 million now. So all the court systems cannot incorporate everyone's issue. I mean, it's too much. So if we have an intervention of technology,
shortcuts, yes.
If technology can ease the work of the judiciary, then why not? Already the judiciary had ECMIS. I don't know if you heard of ECMIS system.
Yes, I have.
Yes, so if that online filing system is already making things much easier, then why not introduce Firmeron, which can be able to ease access to justice? Yes.
There's usually a duplication that comes, and beautiful that everyone, sort of sits in their creative powers and comes up with something. There's usually like a duplication or the same thing almost done everywhere. Like I said, I think I love the fact, thank you for introducing Firmeron, and I hope it really addresses the issues and helps Ugandans, but there are also so many others. I'm just wondering why the system cannot sort of just get that and it's one app, or put everything together, put these minds, Terry's mind and all the other people's minds together to develop something for the whole nation, than almost having something here and there that sort of addresses the same thing. What do you think about that?
If we have one major app?
Yes, one major app that has all the features that you're talking about, because they're all about addressing issues for Ugandans and making sure that there's a gap, filling up the gap between the clientele and the advocates or law firms to be able to help Ugandans.
Okay, I think that would be, I'm a visionist.
Okay.
I actually believe in having one unified solution which can address almost all the issues that we have. It's very difficult to solve all the problems in the world, but at least with our lives we can be able to impact and solve many of the issues which we find in today's world, leaving the world in a better place. So I think the technology, the legal tech space is a bit narrow right now. Like there are fewer people who are developing as we speak. They're already there. I've already interacted with some of them, but it's not yet fully germinated. Most people haven't yet explored it so much. So the pioneers have a huge job to do to first showcase and see how their solutions work, so that could inspire others to come up with better solutions. Then there we can look at a more unified kind of thing. Just like in the transport system, we had Safe Border coming up, then Bolt came up, then Taxify, then Uber. So I think with time they'll also come up with a unified app to solve majority of the transport issues. But then with the legal tech space, yes, actually I'm already part of what's called the Justice Innovators. There are like 3 or 4 other people who are also innovating, and with time we're going to see bigger developments. So I think I would just encourage all other lawyers and people in the legal space to come up with more and more cutting edge innovations which are going to shape the legal space with time. The legal space is a very conservative one.
Yes.
So
traditional.
It's very traditional.
Yes.
So getting even the general public to get to know about this app, or to get to know about the fact that technology can help them solve majority of their issues. It will take a bit of time, but that's how mankind is. We are a bit slow towards adapting to change, but when it adapts, we're good to go. Yes.
What are some of the challenges? You said it, I think innovation started in 2020 for Firmeron. What are some of the challenges that you faced while coming up with this app and putting things together to serve Ugandans?
The major challenge is funding. That's the number one challenge that innovation faces in Africa especially. I engaged with a foundation called Tony Elomelu. I don't know if you've heard of Tony Elomelu Foundation. He's a rich Nigerian man. So his foundation funds startups, but I noticed that if these foundations are not there, it's very hard for an innovator to innovate in Africa. The reason is because our economies have not yet fully appreciated how technology is going to help us. So I don't know, I feel like I need to digress more on the funding issue.
Please do.
I think if most people may not be so confident to bring out their innovations because they might have the idea, or they might be in the idea stage, but they do not have the right seed capital. If someone talks about seed capital of, like, let's say 30 million or 40 million Uganda shillings, it's going to be very hard to approach an investor and tell them, I need this amount. First of all, they'll be a bit skeptical. They'll say, the investor will tell you, I built my own fortune from a restaurant or a petrol station, but they don't quite trust online platforms. They'll say, Ugandans or Kenyans will take very long to adapt to this. How am I sure that my investment is going to come back? So I think most innovators have a hard time adjusting to, accessing grant programs. And even the institutions that offer grant programs, it's a far cry, or it's a far reach. You have to apply so much, or you have to know someone there, or to be sheer luck that you get it. So I think funding is a very big issue, but I think that can be sorted if we're able to if we're able to strengthen our innovation programs through the government and also international organizations like UNDP. If people also empower themselves, it may not necessarily be the government or UN. People also need to go out there and look for these opportunities.
Because they're there.
Yeah, we have LinkedIn, we have Facebook, we have all these platforms are there to educate us and say, there's a grant program for this. If you have an innovation in the legal tech space or in finance, you can be able to access it through this competition. If you can win, then we'll give you the grant.
So how were you able to get funding for it, for Firmeron?
For Firmeron, I discussed with my team, and of course, apps are very expensive things to make. So what I did is, I came up with a write-up, came up with a sales pitch. In most innovations or businesses that you're beginning, and you're sure it's going to take off, you need to come up with a sales pitch, because you need to show the investor or whatever entity you're coming up with that I'm sure that my thing is going to work. What is my demographic? What's my target area? How much do I need? What do I need the money for? So personally, I approached an investor. I approached 3 investors. I approached number 1 of them, and he was able to give me seed capital to begin with. Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And what do you think is the future of Firmeron? What does it look like?
I must have to clear my throat for that. Okay, I think Firmeron, I see big things for Firmeron. I see it taking center stage, not just in Uganda or East Africa, but continent-wide. It's an international platform, actually I forgot to mention, where also international people can be able to be able to access a lawyer who is in Uganda. When I began my YouTube channel, Simply Legal, by Terry Kahuma, I've been approached by a number of international people. Yeah. From the UK, US, and many of them want to do business in Uganda. But they don't know how to start accessing a lawyer. They don't know where to start. They just go on random websites. I could be on a phone call with them and they say, you know, I just typed in Uganda and I tried to look for farmland, and they don't know where to start from.
Yes.
So actually all of our advocates are on an international standard. They're not just on Uganda, but I believe in them, and they can be able to address even international concerns that global citizens would have. So I think it's a global app. Right now we just launched it formally on social media in August of this year, but later on it's going to keep improving, and we're going to keep getting better and better. So I think the sky is no longer the limit for Firmeron. Yeah, I believe in it.
You have 44% of Ugandans having mobile phones.
Yes.
And your app is a mobile app, or can be downloaded, I guess, on other gadgets as well. But then most Ugandans, like you talked about, I love the fact that you have more languages or block languages that you're planning to have on the app, already have, or maybe working towards making sure that that's a big point. But you also have, like you said, most of the people that have most of these cases, or let's say some of these cases in the judicial system or in court, are people who sometimes, most of them, whether it's land issues or family, do not struggle a bit with reading and understanding the law itself. You know, so how then are you helping people like that? Because those are also Ugandans who need help, who need someone to listen to them. And so how do you help those, knowing that you don't really have a big population that has smartphones, but even the ones that really have smartphones, for apps like those, they don't even know about?
Okay, so to address that issue, first of all, we need to sensitize them. We're already in the process of sensitization, the public, and tell them that, you know what, there is this platform where you can be able to access a lawyer. Part of our sensitization teams that we're currently engaging in, we haven't fully yet started so much, but we're already in the process of beginning to sensitize. So as part of our sensitization program, we hope to include people who can diversify in local languages, who can be able to, let's say, go to deep parts of Kahuma or deep parts of Masaka or Mbarara and speak to those people in Runyankole or in Luganda or in Luo, and tell them that, you know what, this platform has lawyers, but these lawyers are not going to speak to you in very huge legal terms. They're going to simplify your case for even someone to understand, and show you that, by the way, we can actually engage in this case like this. We can take this route. We can either go to court, or we can just settle it at a local council level or at a mediation level. So in part of our sensitization, the package is to also make it simple and easy for them to access the law, and also build that self-esteem in them that, you know what, lawyers are not people who you're going to engage and have this fear that, okay, this lawyer is so expensive, he drives a Mercedes-Benz, he drives a Jeep. No, he could be able to speak to you even on an online platform.
Now that they have the app, they've been sensitized, how do they use it? Yes, that can actually be a part of the sensitization, but how do you address and help that Ugandan that needs help, but is not really well conversant with technology, perhaps?
Okay, so that's why I had mentioned earlier that when we're making Firmeron, to an educated elite person, he will want something flashy.
Yes.
Flashy like Instagram. You'll want to go on Instagram or Twitter, and you can be able to understand these things. You can be able to synthesize them. But when we looked at Firmeron, we know the nature of a country we live in. Many people they could be literate in class, but then in understanding these legal issues, they may not be so literate, or they may be semi-literate. So how does Firmeron come in? Simplicity is one of the biggest angles in which we come in. When we had just launched the app 2 months ago, most people were giving us good reviews and telling us that we like the fact that the app is simple to use. So if it's simple for an elite person to use, we would also like to translate that to the ordinary Ugandan who can who can be able to get on the Firmeron app. That's Firmeron client. Even on Play Store and App Store, we have client and then lawyer. Once someone gets onto client, it's very easy to understand. You can be able to set up an appointment. You're able to see a list of lawyers. Once you're able to see their names, like let's say you see Kahuma Terry. Once you click on his profile, you're able to see tax law or land law. You see a number of his specialties. Then you're able to see his when he's free. Set up an appointment with him and then able to see his consultation fee. We try to make it so simple for everyone to pick up and understand. If we made it so flashy, then someone in Kakumiro may be so biased. They may be say, Bino Biabagaga. This one is for rich people. So let me just leave it. Yes. That's why even the Safe Border app is very, very easy for someone to order a ride. Yes.
Now, one of the things, there's a time I got a chance to talk to Mr. Kanyehamba, was once, yes, always been in the legal system and done a great job. And he was talking about how lawyers charge exorbitantly. That's one thing that we cannot sort of overlook. You have an app where you have all these advocates and someone can choose who to go with. But where do you do you have a place where you draw a line and sort of help so that people are not charged exorbitantly when it comes to amounts? Because the better the lawyer or the one that you consider the best is usually
the most expensive.
So is Firmeron doing anything about that?
Yes. Like I said, lawyers didn't go to school for free. That's something we should know. So you cannot blame a lawyer for charging, let's say, 200,000 for consultation. We have to look at his experience. We have to look at all the time he spent in law school. But that's no excuse to charge someone highly.
Exactly.
So how I like to be impartial, just like the law is,
Balanced.
and to reach a middle ground. So how do we get the lawyer to get value for his time, and how do we get the ordinary Ugandan to be able to access justice at a reduced cost or at a subsidized cost? So when we're registering these advocates, we ask them how much would you want your consultation fee to be. So they'll tell you what this amount, this amount, this amount. Then us as the administration of Firmeron, we're able to tell you that, by the way, since we're beginning this app, we want it to be as cheap as possible, or for people to access it at a very reduced cost. So maybe you could bring down the cost of your consultation to this fee, and we can be able to.
Are you a part of the negotiations? For example, if a client came in and they have already zeroed down on the advocate they want to use, are you a part of those negotiations?
As a founder?
As Firmeron?
Yeah, initially we're part of the negotiations, but initially we want the lawyer and the client to be able to have that negotiation. Already we have spoken to the advocate and told them that we want this to be your consultation fee. So once that has been done, they cannot go back on their word and then charge highly. So our major role is to connect both of them together. After that, they can take it on from there. Because already we have tried to bridge that gap. Since we are just starting, we're trying to, and that's our primary focus. We try to bridge that gap.
How are you going to encourage advocates who are already in well-established law firms or who have done great for themselves to then join an app that is going to tell them to reduce their prices or their costs or consultation fees, and yet if I stay wherever I am, I actually have people flooding in? But the end goal is for you to make sure that Ugandans get the services they need when in regards to the justice system. How are you going to encourage those advocates that people want for representation? You feel like it's a privilege to talk to so and so. How are you encouraging those, yet they can actually sit in their law firms or sit wherever they are and they have clients flowing in?
I would say that there's never enough money.
What if it's not about the money?
It's never
about the money.
But you will never meet a lawyer who will ever say, I may already have enough clients, I don't need that app. Trust me. If you find that one, I'll withdraw the app from Play Store or Apple Store. So what am I trying? It's just a figure of speech. What am I trying to say? Like I said, we're a very conservative fraternity, but with technology coming up, I think we're going to make life much easier. Because if one of the biggest law firms has clients like UNOC or clients like a Petroleum Association or State House, fine, it's a very big clientele. But those would be it would be the founders benefiting more from, the founders of the law firm or the major partners benefiting from that. How does an internship student in a big law firm benefit from that? An internship student could be representing the law firm on this platform and the partners say, you know what, we want you to be handling these smaller cases, be able to get your income from that, give the law firm part of this income as we keep building from this platform. So I think it's just about adaptation of technology, and I would encourage all lawyers to apply to us and be a part of this platform, because I think it's a future of the legal profession. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll just take a short commercial break. We're still talking to the founder, Terry Kahuma, founder of Firmeron, an app that sort of helps to bridge the gap between the clients and advocates. You get the help that you need. It was launched in 2020, working, and they already have a prototype up there, already working. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back with more.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Fellow Ugandans, did you know that we are losing wetlands at an alarming rate? Wetlands are the most threatened ecosystems, disappearing 3 times faster than the forests. Dear ones, we risk losing species to extinction and a lot of wetlands at maintaining our environment. Let us all be concerned, conserve, and restore our wetlands. In the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Water and Environment, Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Uganda National Meteorological Authority, in partnership with the Interreligious Council, with support from Government of Uganda, Green Climate Fund, and the United Nations Development Programme.
Happiness comes to us in many places. It's in knowing the mosquito net keeps our children healthy. The wife having the support of her husband. It's in deciding together when to have a baby. And for some, focusing on what's important right now. So what's your happiness? Make the right health decisions to ensure happiness for you and your family.
Effects of climate change are glaring. We have floods, landslides, drought, food insecurity. His Excellency the President has been very passionate about this, and he has explained the effect of destroying our natural resources, especially the wetlands, and cutting the forests. As Cabinet, as government, we have approved a 10 years restoration program. We are going to provide alternative sources of livelihood, and the call is that people should leave the wetlands. And we have started from today evicting people from Lubigi wetlands, and we are going to roll out of the whole country. Our prayer is that those who have not yet been reached, please live peacefully. We are going to provide alternative source of livelihood as a government. Those who are still engaged in manufacturing and selling the plastic, especially the illegal non-buveras, we are going to close onto them. They are also a menace to our country. We look forward very soon having sodas back in the breakable bottles rather than the plastics which are being thrown all over to litter. I want to call upon Ugandans, let's conserve and let's use sustainably our natural resources. I thank you.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Water and Environment, Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Uganda National Meteorological Authority, with support from Government of Uganda, Green Climate Fund, and the United Nations Development Programme.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
You're still watching Good Morning Uganda Extra. Me Sharon and our guest Terry Kahuma has a YouTube channel that, what is it called again?
The YouTube channel?
Yes.
The YouTube channel is called Simply Legal by
Simply
Terry
Legal.
Kahuma. Yeah.
Yeah. You help to address legal questions.
I have to address legal questions. I get people's problems and I address them on the platform where, let's say like the Computer Misuse Act, I'll talk about current events. I'll talk about a cumbersome topic that people have always had, such as a will. What is a will? What is a caveat? How do you put a caveat on your land? So weekly I produce content on my channel where I address people's problems and give them legal solutions free of charge and the most simplified manner for anyone to understand.
Are you the only founder or you have a co-founder when it comes to Firmeron?
No, I have two co-founders. Yes. One of them is a software engineer. He's called Afedra Daniel. The other one is an advocate. She's called Mushabe Dafin. Yes.
You talked about pro bono. I need us to get a little bit into that.
Yes. Oh, on the platform?
Yes, on the platform.
So the thing is about any business needs to be sustained. I'll first start from the sustainability angle.
Yes.
So once we have the lawyers being able to make some money on the platform and able to pay a subscription fee to Firmeron, we're able to sustain the app because the app needs money.
Yes.
And it's also founded under a company that we incorporated, which is Firmeron Applications Uganda Limited. So the first step we did was to incorporate the company, build the app, have a bit of money coming into the app, then we can now dwell more into the part of accessibility to justice. So how do we do this? First of all, every lawyer is supposed to handle at least one pro bono case annually. At least it's provided for by Law Society and Law Council. Oh, wow. Because they want you to be able to give back to the community and you actually earn points through that as a lawyer. Yes, we call them CLE points. So we premised our part of access to justice through pro bono services. In that, yes, we have advocates registered on Firmeron, but we would also want you to at least handle some cases for free, where you can give back to the society and make an impact. And it actually it builds your profile with time. Yes, it builds your profile with time in that they'll ask you how many big cases have you handled. Oh, I've handled cases with, let's say, Cafe Javas. I've represented them. I've represented Unok. I've represented City Tires. But I've also handled cases in the community, such as Masindi, deep inside Kasese, or Fort Poto, or in Bugisuland. Yes. So right now we're still trying to build so much capacity in the app to promote pro bono services. Yes. Yes, to be able to handle cases of people who cannot be able to afford those services. Do you have so many of those people? Those that can't actually handle the amounts or the monies that are charged? I can't say we have so many of them. We have a number of them. We have a bit of cases where people cannot handle. So right now we advise our advocates to be able to handle those cases where people cannot afford. Because in the end it also benefits them. Yes. Yes, in their CLE points, in their profiles, and also give back to community. Yes. What is the mission of Firmeron? I'll first start from our vision. Yes, vision, mission, objectives. So like I told you, we have our motto. Yes. Justice at your fingertips. True. So justice will never cease to end. Now, when we say justice at your fingertips, we want to keep promoting justice until the end of time. Yes. So our mission statement is promotion of justice, or I don't know how I'm trying to bring it the best way possible to define exactly what the app is. But just from access to justice or justice at your fingertips, we know that technology is an ever-growing thing in society and we're not about to regress, we're just progressing. So justice at your fingertips means that with the ever-growing technology, we are going to help you promote justice in all angles. Either you want justice in court, or you want your company registered, or you want this, all legal aspects are put inside justice. At the same time, when we say justice at your fingertips, we also have lawyer at your fingertips. Yes. So our mission statement is we have it in a flexible kind of way. We have it in a two-part. Justice at your fingertips for those who want to access justice, in the court system, and they have issues which concern actually going to court. Then lawyer at your fingertips means that you don't necessarily need a lawyer to go to court to do this, to help you file cases. Lawyers are also necessary for other types of work. Can draft a contract for you. A lawyer can draft a major contract deal between you and the UN, which can set you for life.
Yes.
So that's when we say lawyer at your fingertips. Our lawyers work on average from about 7 a.m. or let's say 8 a.m. to like 6 p.m. So they're available the whole day, at least from sunrise to sunset. Yeah.
Amazing. What has been the feedback that you've gotten from people so far? People using the app. People meaning clients, because there are two apps, right? The one for clients and then the one for the lawyers.
The lawyers, yes. So the feedback, like I said earlier, when I just started the show, the feedback number one is that it's very easy to use, and that actually encourages them so much. The fact that they're able to use this platform, and in the most simplified way, you can be able to, what you see is what you get. Once you get on the platform, you're able to see this, you're able to see this, you already know what you want from the platform. So the accessibility is easy. One of the major selling points of our app is that it's very easy to download. It's just a space of about 10.1 MBs.
I actually just downloaded it, yes.
And what was the data space?
It was very fast, very fast.
It's about 10 MBs because once you make something so simple and cost-friendly and cheap for someone to download, believe me, they're going to love the app. Just like WhatsApp. WhatsApp is about like in between 10 to 20 MBs. So once someone's able to download WhatsApp and they can chat with people all night long, that's why WhatsApp is one of the fastest growing apps all over the world, and it's a multi-billion-dollar company. So Firmeron, the feedback I've gotten is that it's very easy to download, it's cheap to download. Once you're able to get on the platform, you're able to see a list of lawyers who have their specialties there. Once you get on there, you're able to see their consultation fee, and it's also a bit affordable. Yes, and we have a win-win situation. The lawyer will be able to benefit for offering their time and services. The client is able to also value the lawyer and say, okay, you know what? If I walked into a very big law firm, I'm going to leave consultation of 300,000. But on the platform, I'm going to be charged 50,000 or 30,000. At least that can be a win-win situation for both. Yeah.
And what is the feedback from the lawyers?
The lawyers, they've been able to at least get some clients on the platform. Since the app is just 2 months old, they've been able to get a number of clients, not too many, I'll be honest, but at least I think the role is with us more. With the more sensitization that we have for this app, then more people are going to get to know about it, and then the lawyers are going to be able to get more clients. So the lawyers also like it. It's user-friendly. You can be able to edit your profile, and you can be able to at least have a very huge say on your consultation. The working hours are favorable. It's in the normal work time of an 8 to 5 job. So as you're working on your contract, you can be able to get extra work, and you can be able to do your extra work as you're doing your normal 8 to 5 job. Either you work at a law firm or in an organization.
Are you able to talk to, is there someone that I can always talk to at any time if I contacted Firmeron?
Yes. Actually, me being one of them.
All the time?
Yeah, we are available all the time, 24 hours. Because I believe the greatest startups did not start up with a whole customer care team. Just like have at MTN or Airtel. You're not going to have like a whole, you're not going to call customer care of Firmeron. There are going to be so many, You can speak to us, the founders. Like we have my software team. Even some of the lawyers are part of the team of Firmeron. But us as the founders, we are the major go-to point in case of anything. Yes.
Is it an app that I can use on internet, with internet and without internet?
You can use it with internet mainly.
Okay.
And you don't need to be in a Wi-Fi space. You could just have even little data. Because connecting you with a lawyer is quite easy. It doesn't take a lot of MBs. It takes very little.
Very little might be a lot to somebody else because of also how much internet costs. I think in East Africa, actually, Uganda charges the most when it comes to internet.
Yeah.
So that is also a challenge, a big challenge. Has Firmeron thought about working with this app without internet, or it's something you're thinking about?
It's something we're thinking about because actually one of our biggest selling points is that the moment you're able to assume like let's say you have like 10 MBs left or 5 MBs left, being able to go into Firmeron and you have a major issue, you could be able to log onto the app. You've already seen the lawyer that you want, turn off your data, you've already logged onto their profile and call them because their numbers are already there. So that can be an offline avenue on where you can be able to access your lawyer. So you don't necessarily need data to meet them. You could also call them and say, oh, Counsel Kahuma, I've seen you on Firmeron. I would like to contact you, I would like to engage with you. Is this your number? The lawyer says yes. Where can we meet? So you need data to access them, but you don't need data to actually engage with them further if you do not have, or if worst comes to worst.
But you also have different features on that app. So aside from me choosing an advocate or a counsel to talk to, the other features as well that might be useful for me or help me understand certain things, right?
Yes.
Yes. So data is a big issue. I pray that Firmeron gets to think about working without data, or helping people. But the other thing is, you talked about how this is a very conservative sector and traditional, and there's adaptation to change is sort of
gradual.
Yes, gradual, not at a very fast pace, even if we see that technology is a huge ingredient when it comes to all these sectors, if we really want to move at a fast pace. What are you doing as Firmeron to sort of encourage, whether it's the judicial system and all these people in power, for them to understand that it is important and pertinent that we get to know that technology is here and it's going nowhere?
Okay. One of the major things I talked about is you will not conquer Rome in one day. Yeah? But currently I'm working with JELOS. Have you heard of JELOS?
No.
Justice Legal Organization Sector. It's a branch from Ministry of Justice, but they have a technological aspect about them. They get to know rising technologies in the legal space, and together with the Innovation Village, they are actually encouraging a lot of budding technologies to come up and say, you know what, we have this startup, we have this innovation in legal tech, we would like to promote it further. So actually many times I've engaged in 2 competitions so far, organized by The Hague. Have you heard of The Hague?
Yes, I have.
Yes. So The Hague is what hosts the ICC, which is International Criminal Court. Now, The Hague has tried to empower innovation by engaging with the Innovation Hub. Inside the Innovation Hub, we have the Legal Tech Hub. So the Legal Tech Hub, JLOS and The Hague have tried to bring up legal tech solutions to try and market them, try and give them seed capital, and try and fund them, so that yes, we may be in a conservative profession, but if like let's say The Hague has funded this kind of tech, or if The Hague has funded Firmeron, then other lawyers may say, okay, I think if The Hague was able to fund or give seed capital to Firmeron, I think we can be able to also join this platform. That means it's credible. Or I think sensitization will take time, but if the lawyers can be able to try and test these platforms and these apps and say that yes, we're getting clients, then I think change is just inevitable. It will come eventually. Yeah.
Do you have a website?
Yes, we do. Actually, that's a very good question. I actually did not say that in the beginning. Yes, we do have an app. It's called Firmeron.ug. If you're able to get on Firmeron.ug and type it, we're able to see our platform, our website, which tells you all about what the app is about. We also have our lawyers registered there. We have information about the app. We have a few articles written there. With time, as the app keeps developing, we also want to include a section for law students. So law students will be posting weekly articles about what's happening, for example, in the international world, like Ukraine, what's happening maybe in England or in Africa, what's happening in South Africa. Currently, we're talking about the oil pipeline deal in East Africa, and we can be able to post articles there, which law students can be able to engage in. We also have a weekly gazette that we're currently upgrading. So the app is going to expand with time. Yeah, so it will be able to incorporate everyone. In that by the time you live there, not only will justice have been given to you at your fingertips, but you will live feeling like you have also understood things like a lawyer has understood. Yes. Interesting.
Can you just remind people where to download the app?
Okay, so the app is called Firmeron. I will spell it for you. Firmeron. Let me just spell it again. Firmeron. Firmeron. So it could be Firmeron or Firmeron, depending on your pronunciation. It's available on Apple Store for iPhone users and Android Play Store for Samsung users, for Techno and the other types of phones. There's Firmeron Lawyer, which is for the lawyers, and there's Firmeron Client. Once you're able to see the one for client, just go to that one and download it. You'll be able to see a list of lawyers and other services that will be offered to you, and also types of law that are offered, such as land transactions. You see different kinds of specialties like land, intellectual property law, arbitration and mediation, tax law, and the rest. I also run a legal YouTube channel called Simply Legal by Terry Kahuma, where I educate the general public about the law and demystify and simplify these concepts for people to understand.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Terry Kahuma. It has been an honor to meet you and see that you are part of something that will help address so many issues when it comes to legal issues, or so many things that are faced by Ugandans. Now, please go ahead, download Firmeron. It is a legal mobile application which connects lawyers and clients together, offering a multitude of other services. They have that on Play Store
and Apple Store.
Please go ahead, download that for the lawyers and clients, so you decide which one you want to use, preferably the client, because I'm not a lawyer.
And also, you could also visit our website.
Yes.
Yes.
What's the website?
The website is firmeron.ug. Yes. Once you just type it on your phone or browser, you're able to see our website. Yes.
Please go ahead as well. Visit the website. Thank you so much for watching. Good Morning Uganda Extra with me, Sharon. Change is inevitable. The sky is not the limit actually for Firmeron. Go ahead. Have a beautiful day. We love you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.